Welcome to a little tomfoolery, Rob Little and Tommy Ryman. A podcast filled with laughs and gaffs, guffaws and haws, and maybe a picture of a dog. A little tomfoolery, a little tomfoolery, a little tomfoolery. A little tomfoolery, a little tomfoolery, a little tomfoolery. Fools!
Good morning, good day, and good evening. Welcome to A Little Tomfoolery with your host. My name is Rob Little, and we are excited. I think we might have woke him up, but we got him today. He's the best one we've ever had, co-host Tommy Ryman.
Oh, so excited to be here. I can't believe I get to co-host again, episode 21. This is where I'm on a streak. And just to have you again, I can't believe we locked you down. We got the Rob Little to host Little Tomfoolery. Welcome, Fool Nation. Welcome, listeners. I like saying Fool Nation. That's my new thing.
Dude, you keep remembering. I'm so happy because I forgot about it every time, but I love Fool Nation.
Yeah, it's the Fool Nation.
Dude, first of all, we don't ever talk about what time we shoot this, but I got to thank you, buddy, for getting up early today because I got a ton of things to do, and you got up. You still got your pajamas on. I mean, everything is so.
This is actually a regular shirt, but it's this shirt I wore yesterday.
What?
I like that it's 8 a.m. here, so like normal people that like get up are like, really? That was early? That was a struggle for Tommy to
we
get
didn't say what time it was. I just said it was morning.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that you're like, oh, you really got it.
Well, it is kind of early for us. We work nights.
Yeah,
and,
normally.
I mean, you've been having some fun nights the last couple, right? In Omaha?
Yeah, I was back at the Omaha Funny Bone opening for Kevin Nealon. It was awesome. So it was so fun to work with a legend. He was the nicest guy, like so funny. He shared his cookies with me, and he was chatting. Like when he got there, he was in. Colleen put him in like the separate kind of green room. She had me in the box office, and she was like, "Oh, he's like," he was on the phone, and then she was like, "Oh, and he's also like a little COVID nervous, so I've got you in here." So I was like, "Oh, that's kind of a bummer." Like,
yeah.
But then she was like, "Well, let me introduce you," and so got his introduction. We were just doing a 2-man show, so I was doing like 20 minutes in front of him, and then he'd do an hour after me. And so, but yeah, so got the intro, but he watched my set like the first show, and he was like, "Great job," and like riffed on some of the stuff I said. Like, it was
cool.
It was like up at the top, and but his writing is so good. Like his material is just like really, it's like my style, like dry, like kind of like, but like storytelling, like, but just really good. He's a phenomenal writer.
Yeah, the way he talks, like it's very conversational, and then all of a sudden right at the end is the joke, and you're like, sometimes like he's famous. His big character was the subliminal guy on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah,
and that's pretty much his act.
Yeah, well, he's very like misdirection, so he'll set it up, and then you get a switch. But I called my dad like on Saturday. I was like, and I was just like quoting his jokes. I'm like, "Man, he said this, you know." And I told Kevin that I was like, "Yeah, I called my dad. I was telling him some bits." He's like, "Your dad should really be paying for this show. You should just be." So he's just always. It was such a pleasure to work with him. And then the next day, also in Omaha, there was like this actress that she had been on his show. I'm totally blanking on her name. I wish I could remember, and then she's been on Euphoria, I guess, on HBO, but she was visiting family in Omaha. So she was there. She was really fun. And then, so like on the Saturday, the two shows, then he was like, "Come on in the green room. Why aren't you?" So he was like, "You can hang out in here," and shared his cookies. And that's when, but asked for my phone number. So I guess Kevin Nealon will just start texting me. Probably I guess I'm gonna write for SNL. I'm not sure what. Or it's Hollywood, and I'll never hear from him again.
The way he says stuff, though, he's probably like, "Yeah, can I get your number? Because I'm getting a lot of spam calls, and I want them to direct them to you or something."
Yeah.
I worked with him a bunch when I lived in LA, like at the Comedy and Magic Club. He was always there.
Yeah, because I guess he used to live in in Manhattan Beach. Now he's moved, but that's awesome.
That
he
makes
was there
sense. Okay. Yeah, because he was there, and then he did like a show at the Laugh Factory too, or something.
Yeah, I think he did like a little interview show at the Laugh Factory where he'd bring a comic up and then
that was just starting up when I left.
Got it. Yeah.
So how long were you in LA for?
4 years, like 2016 through 2020.
All right, cool. So that sounds like a fun weekend. And then was your dad laughing at the stuff you were telling him about?
Yeah, he was, which was hard. I mean, normally when you tell comedians bits, you butcher it, but he was like, "Oh, that's great!" Like, see this,
right?
So that was cool.
Cool.
I mean, I tell him Rob Little jokes all the time too.
He's like, "I don't get it." I don't get it. And then Megan's dad's like, "He's the best."
Yeah, he's like, "You got to run around the stage more."
Shut up. Oh man. So that is, anything happened back at home this past week, or?
Well, then on Sunday too, I worked with a comic. I had to fill in. I worked with a comic named Derek Gaines, who I guess is a New York comic. He's in the new King of Staten Island movie. And he's in like the Last OG TV show with Tracy Morgan. But that was a Sunday show at the Mall of America. And like I had driven all the way home, and like I was like, I don't want to do this show. Like I was like, but I got there, and you know, it was a small Sunday crowd. There was like 30 people, but they were fun. And he was nice. He was kind of more standoffish, which was obviously I was like a random weird dude that hadn't been there because I was filling in for somebody. I couldn't do the Sunday one. And then there's another dude, Dave Temple, that was his feature. So a lot of comedians, all different, all fun to watch. So it was a good weekend.
I always find it weird when they're standoffish. Like that happens a lot more than you'd think, you know. For the regular person, they probably think we're all like buddy, but it's weird.
But that Mall of America club, man, it can wipe you out as a comedian. Those can be rough weeks for people or weekends.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know. I didn't blame him at all for not being like, hey, like, want to be my new friend? So, like, that would be weird. He was nice.
Yeah.
He just didn't share his cookie. You know, Kevin Nealon set a standard where if I'm working with you or opening for you, I assume you would always give me the carrot cake you got or buy me tons of breakfast. You know, like I just appreciate some type of food. That's all
that's how what I like too, because I like buying for guys when I'm on the road, especially when, you know, I remember it was like featuring or MCing and you don't make a lot of money. And so I always thought tons of guys did that for me when I was coming up, and I always thought that was so cool. And but Kevin, he's probably giving those cookies because a fan gave them to him and he didn't want to eat them.
Well, it was the actress's mom. He was eating them. The actress's mom had like a special recipe. She was like, she won't even give certain people the recipe. And I took a bite. I was like, Toll House.
Exactly.
Got it. Reverse engineered. And that's it. But yeah, no, it's always nice. I like when I bring in openers to bring them out to lunch or, you know, something, because they're not, I mean, she had to give me a bump for this, you know. I was like, I'm not just getting normal feature. I want, you know, so I got my $10,000 rate.
Wow, that's a nice bump.
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
You're talking about, okay, so my week has been, not that you asked, but I'm just going into it. I'm like, screw
Rob, how was your week?
You already asked at the beginning, and then I totally redirected towards you. Okay, so let's start with this. So you were talking about how the House of Comedy will wear you out. Okay, so I play this club, and I love it. It's a great club. It's Myrtle Beach Comedy Cabana. Great club. But dude, it's the same way, man. Those crowds will wear you out because rarely do they get regulars. It's a touristy town.
Yeah.
So everybody is from up north, but it's in states I've never played, like Maryland.
Oh, okay.
West Virginia. Yeah, very East Coast. And they're cool people, but it's just every single show is different, it seems like.
Trying to figure out, are they retired type people that are coming down? Are they snowbirds, like so they're living in Florida part of the year?
Not this time of year.
Just on vacation.
Well, mostly vacationers right now.
You said tourist.
Yeah. It's all vacationers, and they're all like trying to get it in before the kids go back to school.
Got it.
So so this was a weird thing. So the beginning of I forget. Did I even talk? Okay, I have to back up after too. But I flew in from that Cancun gig I did.
Yeah, you talked about that last week.
Okay,
Where the stay cruise or whatever.
Yeah, the land cruise.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was already a weird week because we did shows completely outside with no walls under a hut. Okay, so those were tough, right? You come to hear these are tough, but it's different kind of tough. It's because everybody's from all over different places, and you'll have pockets of really good ones, and then pockets where they're just staring at you. But then they come up after, and they're like ecstatic. They were so happy and loved the show, and you're like, oh, you maybe just haven't seen a live show before or something.
You're like, this is like doing a podcast with Tommy. You're just sitting there, like, just react to my funny bit.
I know it, man. And there's a few times where I was just like, oh, that show sucked. And then somebody come up and they're all like, can we get pictures with you? And I'm like, what? But it was great. And then I booked a couple gigs out of it.
Oh, that's great.
There were people that owned, that owned like small theaters and stuff up north. And
wow.
And a couple there was a comedy club in St. Louis or near St. Louis. It's a new club I've never played. And I was like, this is crazy. Okay. And so I got to work with a couple other comics. And one thing, okay, let's do this one first. So you know how young guys think, okay, this young comic there, I was telling them they're all like talking to me about my house, and they saw the pictures of all the big lures.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just got two more. I got one that's a special, a limited edition, and it says what number it is out of the 300. And I was like, I've never seen that before on one of these. Anyways, so I was telling this guy about the ones I want, and he goes, they're only available in Malaysia.
Yeah.
He goes, why don't you just find some comedians and email them? And I'm like, oh yeah, because that's how we all are, right?
He just reach out to the Malaysian guy. Yeah, you said that. Oh, or you had said that last time. You posted the ones you need. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's okay.
I didn't. No, I know I didn't, because we haven't had a podcast since then. If I brought it up, I must have just thought about it or something. But anyways, he just said, so I started looking up. There's a ton of Malaysian comics.
Yeah. From US or
Malaysian? No, in Malaysia.
Yeah.
Guys we've never heard of that do like anthem shows. You know what I mean? Like humongous thousands and thousands of people. I'm like,
reach out to the big one. I mean, definitely if you're going to get the lure, you want to reach out to the person, whoever's doing the theater shows, because they're going to be able to have the most capital and most contacts.
Right. That's kind of what I thought too. I thought, hey, let me just email this dude.
Did you watch some clips? Are you just a huge Malaysian comedy fan?
No, I think we could go over there and crush.
Really?
They all speak English.
Wait, yeah. I mean,
would you assume that?
I thought they would speak some Malaysian, but maybe they just talk about Malaysian things.
All every show I brought up was in English.
Interesting.
And apparently they get a ton of Australians there too. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, it's very close. So yeah, that was one funny thing. Then that same comic took us out one night and we went shark fishing.
Oh, I saw you post that. That was nuts. So what happened?
Okay, so we get there and he goes, hey, I got to warn you, one of the guys that we're going fishing with is this dude that's just kind of, he's out there. I'm letting you know. And he's got crazy stories. And dude, this guy underplayed this guy so much. We get there. He is like, he's been in prison several times. He's held up a hospital. One time, just held it up for 17 hours. And because he wanted to talk to a doctor about something.
Wow. And they wouldn't get back to her. He was confused how it worked. They're like, no, man, you just fill out these papers. And welcome. He's like, no, you got to hold it hostage. That's crazy. What's
his copay? He had no idea. So he got into a bad motorcycle accident and was owed a ton of money, dude, he had the craziest stories. But as he's telling me them, boom, shark, he catches one. And he wants me to like keep the light on it, because this is midnight, we're out there sharkfish.
Is this legal?
Yes, it's not legal within the city limits, but they all know where the city limit cuts off at, and it becomes state land on the beach. And so, yep. So we had to drive a little ways. And then when we got out there, him and another dude were already out there fishing. And this guy caught a shark, and he had me like follow it with his light. So, cause you got to kind of see when it's coming and getting close to shore. Right.
Okay.
This guy was like, what's the guy from Australia? Crikey, that guy.
Yeah. Steve Irwin.
Crocodile hunter. Yeah. This guy was on sharks like that, dude. He wrangled that thing up, brought it, like you could see it finally coming up to beach. It was only maybe a 4 to 5 footer. Wasn't very big.
Yeah, it still looked pretty big, but definitely not.
The strength on these things was like, that picture we got me holding it was like, I'm like, you got to take it quick, because I could barely hold the thing. Every time it flapped its tail.
Oh yeah, that's just muscle.
So then this guy, it's got 2 hooks in its mouth. That's the kind of hooks you use to catch him, I guess.
Sure.
So he's got 2 hooks in his mouth. This guy gets up in there with a pair of, I don't know, some weird type of pliers, and just stop yanking like you would have thought this was crazy abuse and any other thing, but that's how they have to take him out of the sharks, because their bones and skins are so tough.
Right.
Jank it out of there. And the shark wasn't even bleeding. That's how crazy strong.
Blubber weird. And then it just swam off and was like, what was that? There was some weird dudes that just caught me. One held me like a vacuum cleaner. That was not pleasant. Dude, I'm getting out of here, but I will bite a human next time I see them.
Well, that's the thing. This guy was right on top of it, barefoot. All this thing had to do was move its head just a little bit when it serrated his foot. Then to push it back out, he had to push it by its tail like a vacuum cleaner, kind of. Well, it was a shark, and then you get it out there, and you have to, like, he had to push it a ways before it would take off, because it was so shallow and stuff. Sure,
yeah.
But they were catching what's those sea ray or whatever those rays are?
Stingrays.
Wow. They caught a stingray.
That's what killed Steve Irwin too. Those things will go the wrong way.
But these guys had zero fear, dude.
So they're just catching and releasing, or what?
Yep.
Were they keeping some of these, or
they do keep some? He keeps them in sells their jaws, like their big or open mouths. So we're walking back to the car, and at this time I start hearing all the crazy stories. So we're kind of just like, okay, we're gonna go, and he's like, come over to my car. And we're like, oh no.
No.
Oh no, this is where it happens. And we get over to the car, and he's just got all these jaws in his back seat, just ready to sell. He's got them all cleaned up. And
yeah, I've seen those at different shops and stuff, but I never
I always assumed they were fake, but those are real.
That's crazy, weird.
And he normally keeps them, he said, and he said, I'll cut them up right here and have them all good and the meat ready. I'm like, wow,
shark meat. I wonder how that tastes.
It's very, very chewy, they said.
Yeah, it seems like it'd be really tough.
Yeah.
Huh. That's crazy. That's wild. I don't know if I could do it. I've like pet a stingray when Megan worked at Underwater World, and then I held a starfish. That was pretty exciting.
Right.
But yeah, no shark encounter. I wouldn't mind swimming with the sharks if I was in cages. Yeah. Have you ever scuba dived?
I've never, but I've done the where they have the tube and you can go under.
Snorkeling. Yeah.
No snorkeling, but the one with the air tube. There's actual air coming to you. It's like scuba, but it's between scuba and snorkeling.
Interesting.
Yeah. But this guy, oh my God, the stories were insane. Then he's telling us about when he was in prison, and he was in prison because they allegedly shot a cop.
Whoa.
And
it's not good.
He said he got out of prison because they actually proved, after 10 years, they proved that he really didn't do it. there was some evidence that didn't get submitted, and they had tested him for residue on his hands, and he had none. But that wasn't ever submitted.
Residue, so he was never. Whoa.
So he was in prison.
I thought it was going to be like a bite mark, and they're like, it turned out it was a shark, and then you're like, no, it was the jaws. It was him. He had a jaw. It wasn't really the shark that bit him.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, that's scary, and I hope they caught the actual person. Or.
Well, no, he was still fighting the cops.
Oh.
And he had a gun, but it was never shot.
Shoot the gun. Got
No.
it. Well, that sounds like he's a great guy.
Oh
doing
my God.
Real nice things. Wow.
At first, you never would have known about any of this until he gets a little more comfortable with you, and then he just starts telling.
Are we going to have him on the podcast, or
He
are you
would
too
be
scared to?
Phenomenal guest, dude. I mean, not sitting live with us, but definitely a fun.
From far
guest.
away, yeah.
Oh my God.
On a throne of shark.
When we left, the comics kept pulling up all these different news articles about him being in like standoffs with the police, that thing where he held up the hospital. Oh my God. It was just, the people you meet on the road are insane, man.
That is so quite exciting. A character. That sounds like I mean, there should be like a movie based on that guy. It sounds.
Well, that's
like
what I said. I said the same thing to him.
But he also just sounds like an ordinary Florida guy.
That's what he does. He comes off like, ordinary.
I mean, I just mean people in Florida are so weird that's pretty standard. Like, it was like, you got to remember the state you live in, Rob.
Right. Yep. You are right, Tommy.
Yeah.
But their poles, like this kind of fishing was so different from what I'm used to. I've never done shore fishing like this.
Yeah, because at first I was like, oh, you're on boats, but you're literally walking along the beach.
Yes.
And what bait is he putting on the thing to catch a shark?
Segue, buddy. That's exactly where I was going. They had a net that they were just doing one of those, tossing it out, and then they'd reel it in, and whatever fish they like.
So they must come into shore to eat or something at night.
The sharks?
Nurse sharks. Or what kind of shark was it?
Black tip, reef shark.
Black tip, reef shark. Okay. So then they're just getting tangled in the net. But he had a...
No, the sharks weren't tangled in the net. He's catching the bait.
Oh, gotcha. So that's what he does with the net.
Yes. So the bait he catches would be a normal size fish I would catch anywhere else.
Sure.
So he's using fish that, 2 feet long,
Wow.
Yeah.
And then they're just, wow.
Yes. And then he was showing me all the pictures. He goes, oh, black tip, bummer. Black tip. He wanted to catch this. He catches a lot of hammerheads.
Oh, okay.
But this different type that looks like a shovel instead of a, how far out the hammerhead face goes?
Yeah.
These ones have like a shovel looking head.
Interesting. It's still hammerhead.
It's a different kind though. He had a name, and he's like, oh, I caught thousands of sharks. It's no big deal. I'm like, what? This is so crazy. But they had like these poles that were like 15 feet long. Humongous, dude. I use a 7-footer and I can barely control this thing. But these 15-footers, and then they got little lights up at the top of them. So when they're going like this all the time from the waves and stuff, and then all of a sudden you'll see the light just hammer down, and these guys crank, man. They crank on these things. It is.
And you only do it at night?
No, they can do it all day, but they
gotcha.
They prefer to do it at night because there's nobody on the beach.
Got it. That would be safer.
Yeah.
For swimmers.
Mm-hmm. They said they get a lot of people coming up and giving them grief too.
People are real excited about people catching sharks.
Right.
They're seeing it. Some of them are, I don't know if are they endangered or what?
Well, I mean, catching sharks, big deal. Wouldn't you be more scared about swimming where there's tons of sharks?
Yeah. Well, they're also like, I remember in Manhattan Beach, somebody, people fish off the pier, and somebody accidentally caught a shark and was bringing it in, and then it like hit a guy and bit the guy because he was coming in. Like, it was some crazy, like freak accident. It wasn't like a scary bite or something, but still to be like, I can't remember. That was a good story that I mumbled through.
A nibble would be a scary bite to me.
Yeah. But just like, what? Why are you bringing him in towards the surfers? Get that. But once it's on there, I guess you could cut your line, but I don't know what.
That's what we did when I caught one in Florida. We just cut the line once it got to the top.
Are you afraid of sharks? What are you afraid of? Because now I know we're doing this podcast where I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm, and I
Yeah.
used to be so afraid of tornadoes when I was a kid, and now I'm not so much anymore because I got a really nice basement with Legos down there, so it's real fun to go hide. But because I know you're afraid of snakes, but you don't seem like a real scared guy. So I just
Yeah,
wanted to know what you're afraid of.
that shark thing didn't scare me at all, but
But if you had been swimming in there and one rolled up,
oh
would
yeah,
you
I
be?
would, of course.
So
Of
what
course.
else? What are you afraid of the dark?
Well, wait a minute. Let's back up. You just mentioned something that were you ever in a tornado?
No, I mean I've been in where the sirens go off, but
Oh,
like I
yeah.
was staying in Lake Okoboji once, and I was so scared of because I think one happened when I was by myself or I was with my sister because my parents they'd be at work, so there was always after school we'd be by ourselves for like 2 hours when maybe I was a little too little to be by myself, but Annie was she was like 9, I might have been 6 or 7, but the sirens went off and we panicked, and then we had this little clubhouse downstairs. So my dad, we'll just go down into the thing. And I'm pretty sure now thinking back, it was probably like Wednesday when they first test the sirens. There probably wasn't even like an actual, but it's scary because you hear the sirens. So, and then, but I don't know why I was so afraid. And then my mom's hippie. She's like, well, you probably died in a tornado in your last life or something. I'm like, oh no. Well,
I think it's the whole being alone as a little kid when something like that happens is what it is.
yeah. But yeah, we were in Okoboji. And so then we were on the lake. And when it's stormy and it looks ominous, that's kind of scary too. When you're like, oh, it looks kind of, so the sirens were going off. But I think those sirens were to tell the boaters, like, get out of the lake, or there's different sirens for different areas maybe, or there was but they were eating dinner, and it was like my grandma and my mom, and I was like, there was no basement either, so I was like, where do we go for the tornado? So I was like freaking out. I was like, go, and I kept trying to get them to go in the bathroom. So then they finally all ate their spaghetti with me in the bathroom, like, this loser. But I was trying to save their life.
You guys were having dinner and you're like freaking out. You're like, Mom, we gotta get the Chef Boyardee in the tub.
Well, I was just like, why are you making? She's like, well, we gotta eat. It's gonna be trying to be like, it's fine, Tommy. Like, well, we can see everything. There's no, but I don't know. But I was like, what?
I would have loved to have seen you as a little kid freaking out like that. And they're just like,
my eye patch on. And then the tornado hit. That's how I lost most of my family. I used to have 7 brothers.
Well, I can see why you were probably even really tiny when you were a kid, and then you'd get swiped up fast, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do well. I mean, I would probably land on a trampoline or something pretty far away. But
so that kind of
I've driven through tornadoes now. Like I was driving home once from Omaha. I left like Sunday night to get home, drove through a storm, and I was like, I better check the radio to see what's going on. And the radio, the first thing that played was like, and the tornado warning has just ended. So I've like been driving through.
Wow.
Probably. Yeah. So
that would be a scene in a movie. You're just like, no worries in the world. And literally right behind you is
a massive tornado. I'm just listening to oldies like, yeah, that's pretty great.
Round and round. Wow, dude. I just had a funny visual in my head. By the way, this is the anniversary of the Wizard of Oz, but I could totally see you all of a sudden you get swiped up in this tornado and you come into the Wizard of Oz and you're the Tin Man, or you're the one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
You're the body of the Tin Man, but you sound like you'd be the lion.
Body of the Scarecrow, I feel like. You think
yeah.
I feel like I'm more gangly
than
a giant metal tube. But yeah, true. And a little bit of Cowardly Lion.
Right.
But mostly the Lollipop Gang is really who I really bonded to in that movie. We welcome you to a Lollipop Guild. Lollipop. We could dress like that for Halloween. We should be the Lollipop Guild. You remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course I
okay.
do. I just am thinking, like, in the main characters, I feel like you're definitely the lion, but the body of the Scarecrow.
Yeah, then, you're definitely.
I would be the Tin Man. Not I have the body of the lion, but I'm the one with no brain.
Well, Tin Man had no heart. Scarecrow had no brain.
Scarecrow, then, sorry.
Yeah, because you're pretty goofy and got fun. Yeah, I think we'd both be part Who knows?
Yeah,
I think we'd be
mixed.
separate things.
Screw it. Let's just be the flying monkeys.
Oh, cool. Those are awesome.
Right? Yeah, I read something once that movie's just about two women fighting over shoes.
That's
I
cheesy.
thought that was funny.
I want those shoes. Those were stolen from Minnesota. There was a city that had them, but I think they finally got returned. The ruby slippers.
The
that
real
were
ones?
worn in the movie. One of them, at least, a pair.
Wow.
They had it. I can't remember what city. It was a big thing.
Wow.
But you're not afraid of any. What's your biggest fear?
You know, I think we talked about this one time.
We did snakes.
Didn't I say bears?
Maybe.
But not like black bears or Kodiaks. My scariest are pallbears.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, pallbears from the funeral. I get it. That's good. I got it.
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, that was. I don't know. I heights. I'm not big on heights. Yeah, when I'm in a plane looking down, I have no problem.
All right.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Speaking of heights,
yeah,
what that brings us to, I could bring us to our dog of the week, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Is that
dog
too
of
early?
The week.
Dog of the week.
Yes.
Speaking of heights, last week's podcast, if I'm sure our listeners know, I introduced us to the smallest dog in the world was Millie. So this week I went opposite and I go, I wonder what the biggest dog in the world is. And Rob, his name is Zeus, and he is a Great Dane. And I'm going to share the screen. Here's a little picture of Zeus. He's sitting on a chair, and he's about the size of a horse, and he looks like my dog, doesn't he?
He looks a lot like your dog.
Yeah, it looks like Minnie, but Zeus is a massive dog, stood 7 feet high on his hind legs. So standing up, he was over 7 feet.
What is he standing on both legs? Did it say?
That he was probably closer to 4.5 feet. I'm sure he went down, but yeah. Wow. So he was over, and this was when he was 5. I don't think he is no longer with us, unfortunately. But that is can you imagine a 7 feet? Like that's taller than
the
most basketball players.
The picture looks doctored. That's how big this dog is.
Yeah, it looks fake, but it's real. So
wow.
Zeus.
What a perfect name too.
Yeah. So if you were riding him, you'd be afraid of heights. You'd be like, "This is too high up. I gotta get down." And I'd be like, "Rob, we shouldn't be riding a Great Dane."
I told you we did that. We used to ride this Great Dane that was of my parents' friends had one. It had its own couch, just like that dog. And I'm sure you're gonna have to give up one of your couches once yours is that big.
Well, we have the big L, so she'll go on one side of it. She gets very confused if I'm on one side and Megan's on. She's like, "Where's my spot?" And then she's crawling over Olive and Harvey and stuff. I'm like, "Yeah, settle down." She's like, "I don't know what I'm doing. My body's too big."
How much she weigh now? Every week you tell me, and it's like always. It's like
she's not 80 pounds yet, but she's in her mid 70s.
Yeah, you were just hitting 70 last week, I think.
Yeah, so she's getting up there.
The food is it getting out of hand? What are you feeding her?
She eats 8 cups of food a day.
Does she really?
Yeah, it's about 7 to 8 cups of her doggy food, puppy food.
Wow, that sounds awesome.
Because a lot of people will underfeed their Great Danes. You'll see them skinny, but we're make sure she's she's got like thick coat, like she's a good size. Like they're always like, "Yep, she's at a good weight."
Yeah.
So
you never see a fat Great Dane.
No, but I think they burn so many calories. But we're gonna try to make her. I mean, you see big, bulky one. Like I saw one at the dog park. I was like, that dog's eating like 10, 12 cups of food. It must be. But dude, her when she goes to the bathroom, it is insane right now. And I'm like, it's gonna get bigger. Like I'm like, it blows my mind.
Oh man, you got some fertilizer there, huh?
I don't know what to do with it. It is like
it's like feels it to me. A dog like that, you're picking that up, and you're like, I think she's gonna have to pick up ours now because this is just fair.
it literally it's intense, but
Wow.
we got a pooper scooper, so we're good.
Oh man.
But yeah, it's gonna be cool in the winter when they freeze. I'm gonna leave one out and just have these giant poopsicles. That'll be fun.
Oh man, this is ridiculous. Well, that was the dog of the week. Good
Dog
one,
of the week,
Tommy.
Zeus. I'll post
Zeus,
that on
Zeus,
Instagram and put it in the file.
Oh, so cool.
But yeah, if you want your dog, I've got another listener that's interested in posting they want their dog of the week, so I'm gonna contact them and get that.
Oh,
info.
good. We had that as part of our Patreon. You'd get to have your dog of the week if you were part of our Patreon. But at this point, yeah, it's fun just getting I love seeing other people's stuff. So
yeah, dogs. I think they are Patreon. I'm not sure.
Oh, well, then they
have to double check.
If they're not, you might want to remind them.
Yeah. Okay. Please.
I think it's time for our next segment.
What's that?
A little history with Rob Little.
Nice.
So much history, but I rattled it down and I actually found one part that I'm like, we got to talk about this. So I'm going to do, I'll just do one or two regular ones real quick and then we'll go from there. Okay. So this week in history, 1784, I'm only bringing this up because I want to see if you can guess it. There was an actual state named the state of Franklin, and they were a state for 4 years, and then Congress made them change it.
What? No way.
It's a state we have now.
Okay. And they changed the name, so it's the same.
They declared themselves an independent U.S. state, choosing the name Franklin in honor of Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured.
And then U.S. Congress denied it.
Because they didn't want states named after people? Because there's Washington.
Yeah, there's Washington. Yeah.
The state of Franklin. So I have to guess what state it is currently now?
Yes. Now there's ways to help you on this if you need some help.
Well, because of
like
the year. What year? This was in 1778, you said?
1784. And then 1788, Congress denied it.
Took it away.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be somewhere on the East Coast because they're not. So it's either, is it a real tiny one is it?
It is not.
Okay, so it's not like.
I would not say it's tiny. No, definitely not.
So it's.
And don't let the East Coast fool you. That goes in a little ways.
Oh, okay. So
there you go.
Oh boy. But I don't want to go too far. Like Ohio in that far in or not that far?
Very close.
Oh, like next to Ohio?
You tell me. Buddy.
Basically. I'm getting too many hints now.
Okay,
you're about to give like a Tommy Ryman hint.
I was just about to.
You're like, it rhymes with New Hampshire.
I was just about to do it.
I'm stumped. I'm also having trouble like
just guess the state.
Visualizing the map of what's next.
Okay. Well, some people would say to a girl, "You're the only 10 I see."
Oh, it's West Virginia.
Nailed
it. Tennessee,
West Virginia. Yeah, Tennessee was actually named Franklin for 4 years.
To Tennessee.
All those southern states wanted to just be their own thing. Texas was supposed to be 5 different states, and they're like, "Nope, you're just to be Texas." And they're like, "Well, then we're breaking off. We're gonna be our own country." And they're like, "Nope."
Wow.
Yeah.
Franklin. I like Franklin. I wish we had a state named Franklin.
Yeah, kind of neat.
Just call it Ben for short.
Yeah. Benny.
Interesting.
Frank. Yeah. So I'm only putting this one in because I opened for this lady one time. In 1964, the song Dancing in the Streets by Martha and the Vandellas was first released. And it was a humongous hit. Several bands have covered it, including the Stones with David Bowie. They covered it. And then, but Martha, I actually was part of a show where she was supposed to be like the big star coming to the show, right?
Okay.
It was a stand-up show where there was like 4 of us comics, and they had dinner and everything. It was to raise money, and Martha was supposed to be there. She's from Detroit, Motown. And she shows up literally almost 2 hours late.
Whoa.
The food has already been put away, everything. So she shows up on a little party bus with maybe 10 to 15 friends. They get off the bus. It was like watching Snoop Dogg open up a door.
Oh, like the posse coming in?
Like the Puff Puff.
Oh,
posse.
When the bus opened, there was a cloud of, wow.
She is so high. They make the venue bring out all the food again.
Right.
And they want to eat before we continue.
Oh,
so
no.
we have yet to put one comic on stage at this point.
Wow.
The show was should have been over about an hour ago. So everybody just sitting there watching her and her friends and family eat.
Wow.
And she's giggling her fool butt off the whole time. And so the show starts, and we just start while they're eating. And then the first 3 or 4 comics go on. And I'm telling you, dude, they ate it. Like her family's like heckling them and stuff, not doing well. So I go up, I'm the headliner. I go up and I just roast her, but like to the point where you're like, oh man, is she gonna be pissed? Like, and the crowd is dying because everybody's upset because she was so late.
Yeah.
Dude, she is crying. She's laughing so hard.
Oh, yeah. It seems like she would have loved it.
She did love it. And then the more she loved it, the meaner I got.
Oh, wow.
And I just kept making fun of her being so high and everything. Well, then I get done. You think the show should be over. Oh, no. Martha comes up on stage and does another hour of training people how to dance to her songs.
Yes.
That's
amazing.
And then like a live karaoke with her.
Wow. So
and if the people weren't singing good enough, she took over to sing her own songs.
That sounds amazing.
Oh my God. It turned into this show where you're just like, oh, this is insane. Yeah. And then
she brought the shark guy on there. I feel like he should have showed up for some reason.
Just held everybody up while he ate.
Yeah. Hey, okay. I got some shark here.
But dude, that was I never would have dreamed
that. Yeah.
And she is sweating like she's James Brown up there, man. She is just drenched.
Nice.
Oh,
wow. So that's amazing.
Yeah. All right, so this is the one I was excited to get to. So this week in history, 1955, the Guinness Book of Records is finally created.
Oh, cool.
It's created. And did you know Guinness Book of Records is actually the same as Guinness beer?
I think I did know that for some reason.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So it was all
because they all come from Ireland or whatever.
Europe, yeah. So they said that the guy who created it, Sir Hugh Beaver, was arguing over which bird was the fastest in Europe, because they were like hunting these birds, and he's like, no, the golden plover's faster, and the other guy's like, no, the red grouses, and they go, well, we need something to have it down in the books, and then that's how they came up with it, right?
Nice.
So I was like, well, let me look up some crazy records. And while I'm doing that, all of a sudden I come upon stand-up comedian records.
Oh, for longest sets?
Yes, I got a bunch of them here. We'll go over a couple real quick. And if anything comes up, but the longest stuff, or like longest or shortest or whatever it is, I don't think you're ever going to guess who the people are. The first one I'll go over though, I actually remember this happening because I still play the club to this day. The longest stand-up comedy show by an individual is 40 hours and 8 minutes.
Wow.
And I know you know who the guy is that has it.
Is it? But it's not Dane Cook or Chappelle, right?
Not
It's
anybody. I'm going to help you out here. It's not somebody famous. It's a comic that literally works the same clubs we do. You've seen his name a million times. I'm not sure if you've ever worked with him, but when you hear him, you're like, oh, I've seen that guy a million. Every club we play, he plays.
Huh. Who is it? I give up.
The Midnight Swinger.
Oh, no way. He has the longest comedy set.
He
or
did it
the
at-
longest karaoke set, I guess, because he doesn't do stand-up. He just does sing-alongs.
No, he does. No, he does stand up, but he does some song parodies too.
I know. I'm being mean.
Oh,
That's
I'm
great.
sorry. I thought you thought that's exactly. But this was at Donnie B's in
wow.
in Iowa, or Donnie B's in Springfield. But it was part of Diamond. Oh no, this was at Diamond Joe Casino in Dubuque, Iowa. My bad. I just remember Donnie B talking about it.
What year did he claim the record?
2013.
Oh, okay. That's when he did.
There was a Bob Marley. Do you know that comic?
Yeah.
The East Coast. He had it before Midnight Swinger did, and he was 38 hours and something.
That's awful. Okay, and nobody watched that straight through. That was people, but I guess the guy at Guinness had to sit and watch and make sure he didn't. Oh, that would have been a nightmare.
40 hours, dude. I mean, I go over 10 minutes here and there, but come on.
Yeah.
I know you want to say more. Okay,
the Rob Little in his overtime.
The longest continuous stand-up comedy show by multiple comedians lasted how long?
Oh, that's probably days long. If it was multiples, like so they're rotating.
Go by hours.
86 hours.
Wow, dude, you were so close. 80 hours and 5 minutes.
Okay.
And it was it was in Nashville at this place called Nashville Stand Up. And I mean, they had tons of comedians, Hannibal Buress, Eric Andre, Rory Scovel, Nate Bargatze.
Oh, cool.
John Reap, tons of dudes were in this one. And they all just did it just said they did drop-ins, but it didn't say how much each person did. But then there's some weird ones, like the most comedy shows performed in 1 year. How many do you think it was?
By a performer?
Yep, by one person.
How many they did? I don't know, 800.
Okay, that's what I would have said, because I feel like we've done that many easily. Each week you do 8 to 10 at some clubs,
Yeah.
So, 365 days. Oh, come on. They said in 1 year, 309 shows is the most.
Oh, wow. So not even one per day per year.
How could that be? And it was by a comedian in Finland.
Huh.
So they must be talking about like comedy, like theater shows or something.
Maybe, just interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be, I feel like you could break that, Rob.
Okay. The next one, I thought I knew this answer, and I thought it was fairly recent. Who has the largest audience for a comedian? Largest audience ever for one show?
I thought it was Kevin Hart.
Me too. 100% thought it was Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart had 53,000 people at his Philly show. Not the winner.
Is the winner an American comic?
No.
Okay, so it's a
European German comic.
Got it. That doesn't count.
And he had almost 68,000.
That's crazy. That's
but these are people. Comics in Germany that, I mean, don't you think we would have heard of this dude? He's that big.
I feel like we should, but I mean, if he's not coming over to America.
His name's Mario Barth.
Mario Barth. I'll check him out. Does he speak English?
I don't know. I didn't look up any of his stuff, but he holds 2 records. He holds the one largest audience, and then he holds the largest audience for a comedian in 24 hours. And that was 116,000.
Wow. So basically the amount of people listening to the podcast.
Just cool. Under.
Under. That's awesome.
Okay, now this one you might know, and it's definitely an American comic. The most tickets sold for a stand-up comedy tour.
Tour. So a group of people? Was it the blue collar comedy?
Nope. One dude.
Well, one guy.
and he did this tour, and it's all over the world.
World tour.
World
is
tour.
this a comic from America?
Yes, I already said
okay. Sorry. It was is it a somebody currently working,
Yes.
or is this somebody in the past? So I mean, it's not Kevin Hart?
Nope.
Okay. Is it Chappelle?
Nope. Let me give you he doesn't work alone.
Oh, puppets. Dunham.
Yep.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham.
Yep. Him and his buddies. His
most
puppets.
tickets sold, just under 2 million.
That's insane. That's
insane, man.
Wow.
Insane. Okay, I got.
But he's got to split all that money with the puppets. So it's the more he get,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even know what cut he's taking.
I'd say 10%, 15%.
You think that makes sense.
Okay. I'll just do one more because I got 3 more, but the other 2 are people we've never heard of. One is the highest stand-up gig ever, and it was just over 3.2 miles, and it was in Nepal by 2 comics. And
I got booked that. That was a Doug and Dana. Oh no, Yoder gig. That was a Yoder
Doug
gig.
and Dana. You're so dumb. And then the most jokes told in 1 minute was this comedian magician. And
Micro Machine guy. Do you remember?
No, I know. That's what I was thinking too. Fastest stalker. No, this guy told 26 jokes in 1 minute.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Okay, so this is the last one I'll give you, and it is another. I'm prefacing this American comedian. I'm not saying what gender, and we'll go from there. This person has the most comedy specials on most TV comedy specials.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And
I know Brian Regan has a bunch.
Brian Regan does have a bunch.
Is it up in those numbers or even more? Like,
I don't know how many Brian has, but I think this person destroyed his.
Who has
this bunch? Person has 20 career specials.
Wow. Is it like on Showtime or all different types of like networks and HBOs, or are they all like produced?
A bulk of them are on one network.
What network?
I know this is gonna give it away, I think. Bravo.
Oh, was it what's her name? It's blanking. Is she no longer with us?
No, she's with us.
She's still alive?
You're thinking of
Kathy.
Can we talk?
Yeah.
Is that who you're thinking of?
I thought so.
Yeah.
I'd give up now.
But you just said it. You just said who it is.
Oh, it is Kathy Griffin?
Yeah.
Griffith?
You think she was dead?
I was thinking, I said Kathy, but my brain was.
Yeah,
who
you
was
meant
the stylist
Joan Rivers.
lady.
Joan Rivers.
I was. My brain was like Joan Rivers, but then when you said Bravo, because I thought of her, but then Kathy Griffin.
That is actually a great. I mean, Joan Rivers would have been a good guess.
My sister saw Kathy Griffin. She said she was phenomenal, like because she did that whole celebrity D-list thing.
Right.
So I know she's, but I can't believe she has that many specials. 22.
20. Just 20. Yeah. Wow. I know it. That is awesome, isn't it?
One special out. I gotta get going.
Oh, I have 4. And I still do the same.
You're almost fourth way to Kathy level.
Yeah.
Those were great.
That was fun, right? With the Guinness records. I was like, oh, this was fun watching.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Then I also hooked up, Tanya Lee Davis. She's a little person comedian.
Yeah.
She actually can win smallest comedian by Guinness records, because I looked up, that came up as somebody, and it was this guy in Australia, and she's like 2 inches shorter than him.
Oh, so that's awesome.
Oh my God, we're contacting them. I go, you better thank me when you win this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So Rob, what do you got coming up this weekend?
I am at Key West. I'm doing comedy Key West this weekend, and I'm driving down there, and I think I'm gonna charter a fishing boat if I can.
Oh, very cool. That'd be awesome.
Every charter I've ever done, I've never caught anything. And so I know Key West they're kind of known for slaying them no matter what. So maybe some yellowtail or something.
Oh, that would be really fun.
That
Excellent.
would be cool. That club. Oh, last time I was at this club, have you ever played it? Comedy Key West?
No, never.
A couple of these, I will give them your info if you want. Like, definitely you should be playing Myrtle Beach. But this Comedy Key West one, they throw, like, I've had them throw money up on stage at me because everybody there tips.
Sure.
So they're like, after shows, I make like $100 in tips every show almost.
Weird. So they'll just come walking up as they're leaving and throw money up?
Yeah, and like shake your hand, give you a 20.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's I mean, you get tipped at different shows. That happened a lot in Edmonton.
Edmonton
because
too.
It's a lot of like oil money. Those guys are just excited to give away cash. But
so I'm excited to make some money this weekend.
Get out to Key West, tip Rob.
Yep. I forgot my DVDs on the road, but it's, I know they're not really something that people still buy, but at shows they still buy them. So I'm like, yeah, all right. So I'm bringing those with me this time too. Anyways, so what do you got going on this weekend? I
will be at the comedy I have going. My buddy Steve Gillespie, really funny comic.
Oh, I love Steve Gillespie.
Yeah, he has been on Conan. He is doing his album release show. So I'm on the Steve Gillespie and Friends at Sisyphus Brewing right in Minneapolis. Fantastic small little club. So I'll be doing a spot there.
Please tell him I said hi, because I love him. Actually, when I was bringing you all the time, I was like, as soon as me and Tommy, I got to start bringing him. And then I forgot all about him. Because he's like headlining now.
Yeah, you worked with him at the Mall of America,
I
think. So yeah, he's quite the road dog.
Is he?
But yeah, he's living out in Colorado now, I think.
Is he headline now?
Yeah, he headlines.
Okay.
The same as us.
Oh,
you can never bring him. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
But and then I'm an assistant at Megan's craft fair in White Bear Lake. So if you want to buy some cards of photography, come on out to White Bear Lake. I'll be posting about that. And then I'm going camping on Sunday. We're taking all 3 dogs camping to Wild River State Park, and we'll see how it goes. So I'll probably have lots of stories to talk about when
you guys
get
tent
back from
camp
that.
Too, don't you?
Yeah, we tent camp, but it's literally like an hour and 20 minutes from our house. So if things get wild, we can just hop back in the car and go home. But that's my weekend. So I'm excited to see Steve. You're going to have a blast in Key West.
Yeah. And my neighbors
shows.
My neighbors just told me yesterday I'm playing like the Villages next week, I think it is.
Oh, nice.
And they're coming out to it. So
cool.
It'll be the first time my neighbors, one set of them has ever seen me.
That's exciting. Yeah, my neighbors they want to get to a show, so I'm trying to I'll probably have them come to my headline Acme show Thanksgiving week. But very cool.
Cool, buddy. Sounds like a fun week.
Yeah. This was a great podcast.
It was. I told
fun.
you.
We got to do them earlier in the morning when our brains are firing.
I know
a fresh cup of coffee.
I feel the same way, buddy.
But yeah, I'm excited. We're going to have Pete Lee on next week. I think we're in season 2. Was this the first episode of season 2?
Season 2, episode 1.
Excellent.
Yeah, or 21 or whatever.
Yeah. This has been another episode of A Little TomFoolery. I know you're sad it's come to an end, but we always appreciate you listening or watching on YouTube. Thank you for doing that. Please subscribe, share the podcast with your friends, make some comments, give us some reviews on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, wherever you listen to your podcast. Let us know how we're doing, what you want to hear. Also, if you want prizes and some bonus stuff, why don't you become a Patreon member? Right, Rob? Do you think that'd be great? You can join as little as $1. Starting $5, you get some great rewards, and it helps us keep the lights on and helps us do what we love doing. But that's going to do it. This has been another episode of Little TomFoolery. I'm Tommy Ryman, and as always, this is Rob Little with me, and that's going to do it. Bye, fools.
Bye.
Bye-bye.